As one of the 3 Indigenous peoples in Canada, Métis people have a distinct and historic connection to the land. We have maintained this strong relationship with the land by continuously harvesting and having a presence on it, even under pressure from external factors. This relationship has been maintained and even expanded upon both thanks to, as well as in the face of changing technologies and realities for harvesters.
So the Métis have a really deep connection with trapping. It's one of the ways that our ancestors and even modern community members really engage with the land. And all of our communities kind of came out of that fur trade economy. And even if that economy's gone, we still have that historic and cultural connection that's really important to maintain and keep alive. So we're going to talk about trapping today, and we're going to talk about a few, and then we're going to go out and we're going to set a trap. But first, let's take a look at different styles. So Max, what does this look like?
It's like a bucket.
Yeah. And if we put it out, it kind of looks like some trash. And what's happened is animals nowadays, they've gotten really used to scavenging off of people, and especially people that are just throwing their garbage out, right? And they're littering, because a plastic bucket like that is natural, unfortunately, for a lot of animals now. If we went back 100, 200 years ago, you'd never use a trap that looked like that, because the animals would have no idea that that's food, right? So we've adapted and we're using all kinds of new technologies because we have to. The environment is changing so much. That trap there, it's called a hold trap. And what that means is it's going to hold the animal in place until a harvester can come and harvest that animal. Another example of that would be a trap like this one. It's called a leg hold because it holds the animal from its leg. It'll step onto this pad and then it'll snap shut. There are also kill traps. This is an example of a small conibear trap. It's called a 110. And what happens is the animal will go through the trap. It'll trigger it and it will close. And then that will kill the animal right away. These traps nowadays go through really rigorous testing to make sure that they're able to do that really efficiently so that animals don't suffer needlessly in these kind of traps. Trapping was extremely important culturally for Métis people, and it still is, but it's less important economically. All of our communities in Ontario, they were kind of formed off of the fur trade and that fur economy, but for modern trappers, it's just not there. The amount of money isn't there anymore, not like it used to be historically. So a lot of our trappers trap mostly for cultural reasons and to kind of engage in a healthy way on the land. So this is red fox gland. You can smell? Don't smell too close though. Yeah. So then you'd actually put that right in the hole. That's what's gonna pull these animals in. So now the idea is, got this hole set. What an animal naturally does is it takes food and it hides it in a cache. So a fox, a coyote, whatever, is gonna come in. It's gonna think that that's some type of food. You could even put a chunk of meat in it too. And then what's gonna happen is it's gonna walk up and it's gonna start digging with its front paws, and one of its back paws is likely gonna step right onto this trap here, right? Once a harvester comes back from harvesting an animal, then they're going to take that fur and get it tanned, either themselves or they can bring it to a tannery. And then you get to the point where the fur product can be turned into some type of finished item. So here, you want to hold that, Otter? So what will happen is oftentimes trappers will give or sell their furs to artisans that will make things like these gauntlets that are fur lined, and all kinds of other pieces of mostly clothing. And the reason is that clothes is really good for keeping you warm, but it also has a deep cultural significance because we know maybe where that fur was harvested, you know the whole story of that animal and the person who made it themselves. Whereas when we buy clothes from the store, we don't necessarily know anything about that piece of clothing. Whereas some of these fur products, you'll know that whole story and how many people it helped along the way. And it's a really stylish thing. It's sort of seen as a luxury thing, especially for a lot of Métis people nowadays, to have a really handmade, made for them fur item.